chances are if you clicked on this video, you are overwhelmed with the clutter in your home and being able to keep your home tidy. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about 5 things that are really beneficial, things that I do, but also things that a very well-known declutterer tells us that we should do. So let's get into it. Hi everybody, my name is Lindsay and I have been on a journey to minimalism since the beginning of 2022 and kind of even a little bit before then, but let's just say that it's been since the beginning of last year. So after a year of decluttering and getting my house back together, I feel so much more on top of things, I guess. And I came across an older video by Dana K. White, and it's on her, I don't know if it's on her YouTube channel, but I'll have it linked below. This is from her website. This is where I found it. And she talks about 5 things that we can do to make it easier to clean our homes, especially when you feel overwhelmed. So the first thing above all things that Dana recommends is that you get to your dishes. This is one of the things that I struggle with a lot, but lately I have actually been doing my dishes every day for like the last week. I've done my dishes every day and I have seen such an improvement in my home, in my kitchen, in the way that I get things done, in the way that I feel about my home, just things like that, like getting the dishes done. Right now, I actually want to take you with me to my sink over here. So I have some dishes in the sink and I have some clean dishes on the counter, and this is kind of where my house is at. A lot of the time my sink will be full, but I can always get my dishes done in one session. A lot of the times I'll just wait until after we do dinner and I will just come in the kitchen for 10 minutes and do my dishes, and then it's all done for the rest of the day. I do want to do these dishes with you though, because I do feel like seeing someone else do these chores is very motivational. That's kind of what this channel is about, is doing it with you instead of just talking about it. I think that getting things done with a friend is always better, so you're my friend and we can do it together. So let's get some dishes done and then we'll get into step number 2 of keeping your house clean. But go get your dishes done really quick. Let's see how long it takes you to get all your dishes done. So Dana always talks about how there is some dishes math, and I have definitely noticed this in my home as well. So dishes math is, let's say that you haven't done dishes in a long time. You've used up every single dish in your house. It is piled up to the ceiling. You have so many dishes in your sink that you don't even know what to do. Imagine doing all of those dishes in one session. How long would that take you? Let's say that it would take you 2 hours to do all of them. They're all clean, they're ready to go. But dishes math is basically how long it's going to take you to do those dishes. So the first day that you go and do them, you sit and you do them all. It would take you 2 hours, right? But the next day, there's no way that you could pile up that many dishes in one day. So it might only take you 20 minutes. So dishes math is kind of funny. It doesn't really make sense. But if you left it again for another 3 days, 4 days before doing all the dishes, it would be another 2 hours of you standing in front of the sink getting all the dishes done. So 20 minutes a day doesn't add up to 2 hours in 3 days. But somehow, if you leave your dishes for 3 days, it might take you 2 hours, sorry, not 3 hours. Might take you 2 hours to get it all done instead of the hour that it would take you if you just did it every day. It doesn't make sense, but it also does make sense, because you would have to hand wash more dishes to get them all done in one session instead of just throwing them into your dishwasher. You would have to scrub some of them. You'd have to let them soak for a while because they'd crusted on all this food, and it's just better, in my mind, that I've been learning. It's better to just do them all instead of having to let them sit and crust and be really, really hard to clean. And I've gotten a lot of comments saying like, hey, why do you rinse off your dishes before? And sometimes I'll do like videos where I do my dishes. And it is one of those days where it takes me an hour to get all my dishes done, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to just do the dishes. And I speed up the clips because it takes so long, and I'm doing voiceovers and people are like, why are you scrubbing them? And I'm like, because there's crusted stuff all over them because I let them sit for 2 days before I got to them. And you know, that's just kind of the way it is. And it's okay. Do your dishes however it works for you. But definitely doing them every day is such a beneficial thing. So that's something I've been doing, and my sink feels a lot better when it's clean, I will say. Like at night when I go to bed, it's just like a load off my back to not have to, you know, empty the sink. Like I don't have to think about the dishes in the morning when I get up. I literally have dishes to do breakfast. Like I have frying pans to make breakfast. This is not a phenomenon, but it does really help with everything going on, being pregnant and everything. It just really does help my house stay clean. And wiping down the sink after doesn't hurt either. It just makes everything feel just a little bit better at the end, you know? So doesn't that feel so much better to have the dishes done? And isn't dishes math such a real thing? I know that if I just spend a few minutes after dinner or during my downtime while Dan's napping, then it really doesn't take very long. I literally was only over there for like 3 minutes doing dishes, and obviously they're not ready to run the dishwasher. It's not even halfway full yet, but after dinner, it'll be even easier to put stuff away because I did some of it earlier. Not always perfect at it, but I am learning to be better, and I'm trying every day to do it at least once a day. Clean out the sink once a day, I should specify. So number 2, after you've conquered your dishes, I would say maybe don't do all of these in one day, especially if you're super overwhelmed. Let it take the course of like a week or 2 just to get on top of these habits. Number 2 is to reduce the paper clutter that comes into your home. Junk mail, billing statements maybe, things that come automatically, medical bills, whatever it is. I mean, I actually like when medical bills come because it like reminds me to pay them. So that's one thing that I probably won't put on a paperless thing, but there are some things, they just clutter up your home. Paper clutter is a thing. So I have a paper clutter drawer, and this is the way that I do it. I wouldn't say I am perfect at this one. I am still learning this one. I've noticed as paper clutter comes into my home, I actually look at what it is first instead of just tossing it all into the drawer. I actually look at it, throw away the stuff that I won't use. I immediately recycle it into my recycling bin. With paper clutter really does clutter up a space. So a good thing to start with, because this is what I did, is to designate a place for it to go. Whether it's a drawer, a basket, somewhere, so that it's not cluttering up your counters and it's not cluttering up your fridge if you like put it on your fridge. Having a place designated for it, you don't have to go through it, because this is what I did for a long time, is I would just throw it all in there because I didn't have the mental capacity to go through it immediately when it came into my house. So I would throw it into the drawer, and then when I had a spare 10 minutes, I would just go through the whole drawer. And that worked for a while, and it was a good way of getting me in the mental mindset of being able to just throw things away, because I don't know what it is. I have a hard time throwing things away, and there's probably still stuff in the drawer that could be thrown away. So we're actually gonna head over to my junk mail drawer, which has not just junk mail, it also has important mail too. So I want to go through it with you really quick. I'm sure we'll have some things that we can toss, but this drawer used to overflow. So having it not overflow, like this basket I have in here is for important stuff. So I have an important document basket, which does get cluttered up sometimes, but I'm not gonna go through that right now. There's things in there that I probably need to keep, but I usually go through it after a month or so. And like there's a notebook in here. I have no idea why that's in there. Oh, that's for when I do meal planning and stuff. But like junk mail that maybe I thought I would use will come into your house, and you might think, oh, this has coupons on the back. This is for Ace Hardware. My husband might use this. So you stick it in the drawer thinking that they're gonna use it, who knows? And this is what I know that the minimal mom, Dawn, she tends to have a time will tell bin and like a little basket for stuff like this, and she goes through it regularly. This is kind of what it is, but it's more broad for me because I'm kind of lazy. This is something Devin needs to deal with. So this doesn't belong in here either. That's something he needs to work on. But I'm gonna go through the junk part of this drawer, which is this pile, which is not very much, I will say. This also doesn't belong in there. So honestly, looking at this stuff, I really don't think we're gonna use any of it. And like that one I don't think we'll use. I'm gonna put it on the ground. Just newspaper. And sometimes I use newspaper to clean windows, but I have been using my Norwex window cleaner rag and that's been working great. So this is expired. So why am I keeping expired coupons? We also are doing a no spend month. What do you want, Roxy? This is one that we might use. I might give it to Devin because he sometimes picks up lunch for himself. We are doing a no spend month, but he has like a small budget for lunches when he's at work, just for days that he didn't bring a lunch, or you know, just it's a very small budget, but he can take that with him. But yeah, so we're doing like a low spend month for March, and we don't really need all of these coupons, but there are a couple fast food places that I'll give him the coupons for, mostly just Arctic Circle, because that one he might actually use. I'm putting them up here, but they're falling on top of me. Like Wiener Schnitzel, we never go there, and Del Taco, there's a Del Taco by him, but that's already expired, so don't need that. Where did Utah starter homes go? I don't know. We have one, so we're good. We don't need another one. And then another old Smith's ad. So as you can see, a lot of these are duplicates, but they are curated for things that we might actually use. So they're curated for things that we would actually use, like the grocery stores and things. There was a couple in there that I would never go to, but you know, you can't be perfect at everything. But this is all that was in there, and I've just been very careful not to bring a ton of extra stuff into my home. So this is all I'm throwing away, and then there were a couple notebooks and like a box in there that ended up in there because it does kind of turn into a junk drawer. But the important papers are like the only thing in there, and that one fast food coupon, that's still good. But these ones need to go into my recycling bin. And hopefully while we were talking through all of these papers, you were able to go through yours as well and get rid of some things just lying around your house that are basically just trash. Or if you do have a drawer for, you know, papers like these, then hopefully you went through that as well. But this is what I have to throw away, so it's not much, but it is nice to have gone. And then I'll go put these downstairs with my other stuff. This notebook I actually do like to keep in here. I forgot that I like to keep it in there because this is where all of the ads end up, and that's my meal planning thing. So it does belong there. I forgot. It's fine. I've got pregnancy brain, in case you're wondering. So as you can see, a lot of the things do pertain to the kitchen, and the next thing is no exception. So number 3 is to declutter your dishes so that they all fit into your cabinets. And some of you might think, that's a no-brainer, duh. Obviously, you're gonna fit all your stuff in your cabinets. That is not always the case. I've noticed, so like let's say you've gotten all your dishes done, but somehow they don't all fit in your cabinets. And that's okay, but it is something that is easy to fix as long as you're willing. So we're gonna head over to my dishes cabinet, and you can see I've done quite a bit of decluttering in this area. This space right here, as you can see, has been decluttered quite a bit. So, and I do say that I'm lucky because I have a lot of cabinet space. We redid our kitchen. Technically we moved our kitchen and we added a ton of space in the kitchen just because of the space we had to work with. It had a lot of area to cover. So we put a ton of cabinets, and I don't love open shelving. So this is what worked for me. It's just a bunch of cabinets. So I will say though, I do not love these plates. And I've slowly gotten rid of them. But now that I'm just giving myself permission to get rid of these. Also, this stuff right here, it's stuff I probably need to go through. So I will go through that probably in a future video. Today is not the day for that, but that stuff will be handled pretty soon. But like up here, these are the plates that we use. They work. They're 50 cents at Walmart. I constantly buy them, and because they're so affordable, I like them better. And so when they start to, you know, have a bunch of scratches and things, and if they warp a lot, then I get rid of it. It was 50 cents at Walmart, so I throw it away and I buy a new one. And they're what work for us. It's not always going to be what works for you. And I've noticed that this amount of plates plus the ones that are in my dishwasher is about the right amount. So these ones are extra, but obviously they still fit in my cabinet, even though I had these ones, but these are extra. So what I would do is if I were starting with a cabinet full of stuff, I would take Dana K. White's container method, where you look at your container. I would take everything out, probably. I would be like, okay, let's take everything out of this cabinet and only pick the ones that we use and the ones that we like and put them all back. So these plates would not cut it. So I know they're pretty, but like, I just don't use them, and they are not microwave safe. And my husband always tends to put them in the microwave, and I tend to put them in the microwave because I like microwave safe stuff. I think plastic stuff is okay. We are in that stage of life. We do not need really nice stuff like these bowls. 50 cents at Walmart. These plates are my son's plates. IKEA. I might need to get more of these though. We use these a lot. These bowls, some of them are from IKEA and some of them are little kid bowls from Walmart, and they all stack together. Like, they don't stack perfectly, they're different sizes, but they stack together and they fit right there. And you know, I would use the method of making sure things fit in the space that they're allotted. So this is for plates and bowls. This whole row, plates and bowls, they all fit there. What more can you ask, really? And then obviously it kind of gets a little more disarrayed as you move up, but it all still fits. And I did move from a smaller space to a larger space, so I didn't have to declutter a ton, but I had decluttered quite a bit when I moved. I also broke a lot of these plates. When I was packing them up, I broke a lot of them, so like the set isn't full anymore. I used to have 4 of each of these plates, and it's just slowly dwindled from there. But I do love having like this space in my kitchen be so organized and so ready. And like, I know I don't have like a ton of servingware and plates, and they're not super nice, but I can get paper plates at the store, and I am not like one of those people that has to have a bunch of servingware. I do have like 2 serving platters, and that's about it, but then I would probably still use paper plates, or I would let them use these plates and then they'd still be fine. They're machine washable, you know, like what can you say? You can only do so much, guys. Can't be perfect at everything. But I'm gonna leave these to the side because that is for a later step. So we're gonna take these later, but I'm gonna set them just to the side for right now after we talk about number 4. This one is one that I've done for a really, really long time, longer than the dishes and longer than decluttering things from the cabinets. This is one that I actually have a video about from like 3 years ago. long time. I learned this trick from Dawn from the Minimal Mom. It changed my world with Tupperware, I'm not gonna lie. I made that video talking about how you should store your Tupperware with the lids on, and it was a short video, so if you want to go watch it, I'll have it linked up in the iCard wherever that is and down below as well. I love Tupperware, or it's not actual Tupperware, it's just like, that's what I've always called it. Food storage containers. So the tip is, so number 4 is store your food storage containers with the lids on. And I do have some things to go along with that. Make sure they're dry before you put them away, which is why I tend to put a lot of my dishes on the counter after they are washed in the dishwasher. I like kind of just take them out and I set them on the counter because it does get really wet in there, and if I leave them in the dishwasher and like open the dishwasher, my dog will come and lick them. So that's not really what you want. But so I'll stick especially the food storage containers up on the counter, and sometimes like the cups and things, just because I don't want to put them away wet. So I let them dry out for like an hour or so. It's fine, it works out for my life. Everyone is different. But we're gonna head down to my food storage containers, and I'm honestly sure that there's a couple that I can part with. I mean, I want to say that, but we'll know for sure. We'll know for sure once we get in there. So let's go look really quick. Ignore the chocolate pudding that my son put on the drawer recently. I definitely need to go around and clean them. But as you can see, this drawer is pretty dang full of storage containers, and I do love having like the options of the different sizes and things, and they do fit in this drawer. I am going to say I got these for Dan, and I've only used them a couple times, so I think I'm gonna part with a few of them. So I'm gonna keep the green ones because I like green, and there's 4 of them. And then I think I'm just gonna keep the green ones because I like them the best. So I have 4 of these little containers, which I might use when the baby comes more often, but as of right now, I don't think I'm gonna use them very much. And I don't know, I like to just get the pouches at the store, like the applesauce pouches, which is what I was putting in them anyway. And they're not the easiest things to use, so I'm gonna get rid of these 7. So I'm gonna get rid of those 7 because I don't use them, and they take up room in my drawer and I don't need them. So that's one thing, but I will keep these 4. They don't take up much room when it's just 4 of them, actually, so that's kind of nice. I'm gonna look at the other ones I have before I decide what I want to keep and what I don't. Let's keep looking and see if there's other things that I would like to get rid of more, because there's nothing in those 2 drawers that really stand out to me just yet. I do put some storage, like food storage containers in here, but I also store my immersion blender. And there's also some random parchment paper that I will probably just throw away. But like this one, these can store together. I use those for like fruit. They're fresh fruit containers for the fridge. Obviously they're not being used currently. I have one more big fruit container that goes here, and then I have a couple ice trays. I do use these every once in a while, so I will keep those. They're really nice to have for like baby food, like if I'm making baby food or if I'm making popsicles. I don't have a popsicle maker, but I do use ice cube trays sometimes. So my immersion blender, it does take up a lot of space, but I use it a lot. So I am thinking I might get another blender, like a big one, but that's not on the top of my list yet. I do feel like I have more storage containers than most people need or should have. But if I have the space for them, I'm not that concerned about it. But let's say I only had 1 drawer instead of 2 to put all of these. I would pick my favorite ones, which would start with the glass ones with the lids, and then it would go to these ones. And then, because I really like these big containers, I use them for a lot of stuff. And then after that, it would go, like these ones are gone. Like the smaller containers would probably go first, because if I don't have the space for them, then I don't need them. And That's just kind of the rule I need to go by more often than not, is that if I don't have the space for it, I don't need it. All right, so number 5 is one that I think everyone should have something like this in their house. And it is a tip that I hear all the time, so bear with me. I know, but I have a couple places in my house that I have for this, but that's where we're gonna get into the things that we found. Number 5 is to create a spot in your house for donations. It doesn't matter where it is. A lot of the times I like to find like a diaper box. Downstairs I have one. It's a microwave box. It used to house a bunch of like painting supplies and things, and I cleared that out in the garage and I realized I had this big box, and so I was like, this will be my donate spot. So I have one downstairs in the office, and then I have one in my dining room. So let's go to the dining room first. This is a space that I still have I need to work on, truly. There's quite a bit of stuff in here and I go through it sometimes, but you know, there's like renovation stuff and things, but there's a box down here, right here, that is a donation box. So it was a box that we got from diapers, and I actually got this box yesterday, but we get a diaper box at least once a month, so I can always fill up at least one box every month from diapers. But you can really use any kind of bin, whether like it's an Amazon purchase, you can use a box from that, or if you need to have a bin that you just empty into a garbage bag at the end, it's fine too. I do like the acronym Ohio, only handle it once. If that helps you. That's why I like to have a donation box, so that I only have to handle that thing once, and I just put it in the donation box, and then at the end when it's ready to go, I stick the donation box in my trunk and then I drive it to the donation center when I'm in that area. But I really do enjoy getting rid of things from my house. But I'm gonna go downstairs and show you my second donation box, just because I think it's good, especially if you have 2 levels, it's good to have one in each space, so that you don't have to like walk up and down the stairs, you know, especially when you're 30 weeks pregnant and you just don't want to, as I'm walking down the stairs to show you. So we're downstairs in my office and it's really dark, so I'm gonna turn on the light. And this room has some things, but I have a box right there. It's enormous, so it might take me a minute to fill that one up, but I tend to have boxes in the basement also where I can throw things to donate as well, and that really does help. It helps my house stay under control, and I wouldn't say that this room is one of those rooms that's completely under control, but there's going to be spaces like that no matter what. You may not be able to keep everything under control all the time, but you can make things so that it's easier. So having the dishes done means that you don't have to spend hours doing dishes one day. Being able to have your Tupperware with the lids on means that you might have less Tupperware to deal with. I am not perfect at all of these things. These are things that I'm still working on and I'm trying to work on, but I do feel like in this last year of decluttering and minimalism and trying to make my house as good as I can in the stage of life that we are, I feel like my house really has stepped up to the plate. I've stepped up to the plate, and now it's so much easier to clean. It's so much easier to keep my house neat and tidy. This is so fun to make these videos with you, and I love you so much, and I hope that you got some benefit, some motivation out of this video to get your house in order. And I love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!